Hey there, I'm John Siskovich, and I am in front of my brooder right now, and I just did my brooder chores. We're going to zoom out here. And I have birds inside this shed, but I also have birds outside this shed. Let's see if, oh, they're all, it's like, I just put feed on the inside, and it's cold and windy outside right now. There's my birds with access to the outdoors. This is a good example of access to the outdoors. In the brooder, they have access to the outdoors, the A word, and then in the field, they have access to daily moves, fresh pasture, and getting off of their poop, because this was all green vegetation. Anyways, I was supposed to introduce this video. So today we're going to walk around the brooder. I'm going to show you what's going on, show you the predicament that I'm in, and we're going to discuss how I'm planning around it and what to do next. So as I just said on the other side of the video, I have an outdoor space, chicken tractor, connected into my brooder area. And I have birds in there that are totally ready to go outside. A few days ago, they were not feathered up. You see like a big difference between that guy right there and that guy right there. I was letting some of those other birds catch up. See what the lighting's like when I jump in there. Letting some of these guys feather out. See, we got a lot of naked butts going on in there because we had a string of bad weather days in the forecast, and I didn't want them to get cold and wet and either be stunted for life and be less profitable because it takes longer to grow the same bird, or worse, they would get wet and cold and die and pile up into a corner, or the pasture floods and they're all in a puddle and it's terrible. So getting them warm and cozy in here, the last thing on my chore list to do, and I saved this so you could see it, I have to put some fresh shavings on top. They huddle around the door. It's drier at the other end of the brooder, but right here it got a little wet because of the cracks in the door and because they were huddling around there during the daytime, because this was open yesterday and it was nice outside, and they were back and forth between the inside and the outside. And this outside had been green, lush vegetation, and they are slowly doing what chickens do. And this is a good example of why access to the outdoors doesn't work on a larger scale, because there's all that hasn't been touched yet. This gets burnt out, and you can scale this up to a large barn where if you had 20,000 broilers in there, or even egg layers with access to the outdoors, because the doors are the same size, this is what it's going to look like around the barn. This is all that extra space and pasture that is advertised, that is green and lush and good, but never gets used because chickens don't walk that far because they're lazy. Now we're going to go inside. I got feed and extra feeders right there. I got little baby chicks. And this is my pickle. I have these birds that are ready to go outside on grass. Just about ready. They're taking up this space. Because there was a shipping embargo and my rotations got off, they were delayed 2 weeks, which put them in the brooder later than anticipated, which I don't have a second brooder. They were supposed to be gone, and this was supposed to be cleaned out, and these guys arrived. This is all out of my control. Now this has a thermal heater in it, and because I just walked in and out of the door, they're all huddled underneath it. And this is a heat lamp. I need to prep the field to move them out in a couple days and kind of push this area. I need to keep them warm. I need to keep everybody fed and watered. And I'm finding that my little tiny wall here is not tall enough, because when I woke up this morning, 2 of these guys were in here, just like giant dinosaurs ruling over their lower little baby class right there. This is a mixed bunch of egg layers that we got for fun. See that Polish right there with the top half? It's awesome. There is endless amounts of joy to be had from watching baby egg layer chicks. Unlike the dinosaurs who just want to eat. Like now they're going outside. So what I'm going to do is prep some broiler chicken tractors, Siskovich chicken tractors, out in the field, move these guys out, clean this area out. I'm walking back and forth on this right now, which I don't like at all, because from a biosecurity standpoint, you could have, you know, say if coccidiosis, which is a terrible chicken bacteria, grew over here because these birds are a little bigger and it got wet because of the rain, I might track it into the younger, more fragile, less developed birds, and that would be bad, a bad scene, bad news. So I'm going to get out of here to give these guys a nice closed up space because it's windy today. The door behind me keeps opening. This is my brooder predicament. I'm going to use my grazing planning to prep my field and move these guys out, give these guys a little more safety, security, and snuggliness, and then they'll get big enough in time for my next batch of birds to move into the brooder as these guys move out to the field, unless there's another shipping embargo and my scheduling gets all screwed up again. So that's my predicament. I have birds that I want to move out, but now we got into a rainy period after not having rain for several weeks. There was a shipping embargo which delayed one of my batch of birds. That made me double up in the brooder, which I have never done in a decade of farming. I've never had, well, my very first batch of chicks ever, I double brooded, but I set up for it. This was not set up for it. I had to adapt on the fly. Now I want to move these birds out, cool them down so they're hardened off to get ready for the outdoors and keep the other birds warm because they're only a couple days old, all in the same space on a windy day, and it's tough. Now, it is also tough to shoot video in the wind, and during the week there are forklifts and trucks and lawnmowers and rain and wind. So I created an indoor studio space to help teach some of these lessons where I can take still photography and then turn them into videos. And you're going to see some more of that coming up because I've gotten some questions about sharing my grazing planning and some more of the strategies that I use for photo, video, and we're gonna move into the studio at some point and talk about all that and see how the actual real life in the field stuff translates into paper. If you want to get that information, you got to hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell for notifications. And now I've done my YouTube duties, and I hope that you have an awesome day. Hope that your birds are warm and safe and getting ready to move around outside. Enjoy the day. Until next time, I'll see you out in the field.